Richard said. That was
I mean, we were talking about insurance into the late game. We were talking about magic damage. That's why we thought about Natan, but essentially the Sicilian does have that same role.
It's the same effect.
Yeah. You know, it's a well-rounded lineup by Saudi Arabia. The first 3 picks is like, oh, they can go early, mid, you know, bruiser. Suddenly, Saudi Arabia with the last 2 picks goes, let's go like, let's go mid to late game. And
For Philippines, Saudi Arabia, if they lose here, they will be eliminated. The host country out of Iesf 2024 mlbb. Here in the game, Saison, okay, on the PRH, same normal export pick.
Just a little correction there. They will be going to fight,
Third
right?
place.
To third place.
Third
yeah.
place.
So they'll still have a chance, but obviously the team that does go forward here will go to that grand finals, lock in that first spot. But yeah, nonetheless, the pressure is up for Saudi Arabia, for KSA, the home team here, of course, trying to extend the series. And again, you know, they were able to go ahead and sweep Indonesia this time around. We'll see if they can extend the series against a team like the Philippines. Now, based off what we saw in the previous game, Saudi Arabia's, just their players in general have vastly improved, even the last time that we saw them in ISF. But with this lineup, again, it's more so can they execute it properly, especially this time around. You know, they've got to revitalize in favor. They got the 2 purifies. So really, we're going to be paying attention to how Sano and Cuffin play this match.
When it comes to clear, honestly, Cuffin on the Sicilian isn't bad at all, right? If it's just Valentina versus Sicilian in the mid lane, I would actually give it over to Sicilian. But the fact that Gomez is on the Cho gives them so much more pressure to go clear out the waves, especially with the concussive blast. So almost automatic wave pressure in the mid lane. But so far we can see that Saudi Arabia have been able to match that really, really well. Cuffin double laning, something we expected from the quad is being done by Cuffin to get as many stacks as possible in the early game. Tarzan waiting in the bush.
Okay, already. They're going to force the fight. Sanji quiet low. They're going to jump in. Demonic Force going to be used too. Saison jumping in back, trying to cook them down. First blow though, Sanji falls. Tarzan also in trouble. 2 down for Saudi Arabia already. Philippines are looking for more. It's a 2-for-1 trade. They're looking for there. Saison will go down in the exchange, so the 2-for-2, but another body falls for Saudi Arabia. So what a battle before even the first turtle comes up.
A big battle. Philippines definitely got the edge there, 3-2. But if we take a look at the grand scheme of things, Saudi Arabia, they want to scale on, right? If it's an equal or almost equal trade, if it's 2-for-2, 2-for-3, and there's no neutral objective taken, I think they're going to be quite happy with that. Yeah. The fact that Tarzan didn't lose a lot, and now they can go for a fight again with the Phobius means that they want business. Avatar of the Guardian.
Jump in, forcing him back. Gomez is there, but this might be a situation where Philippines decides to not contest this. Turtle being worked on really quickly. Glorious Pathway already dropped down. Who's going to get it? Saison does secure the objective. Now going for the fight as Tarzan's in trouble. First to fall, still going for it. Saison finally goes down himself. And Sanji on the hunt for Fernandez. Gets away with just a little bit of HP left alive. But meanwhile, this whole time, once again, objective secured. But take note, Cuffin has been building those stacks. He hasn't gone down. He's been kind of just hanging out in the back, building the stacks up.
It's all about protecting Cuffin and also protecting Sano. Again, if you take a look at that neutral objective, amazing pick off by Gomez there. Went in for the G Kundo, targeted down Tarzan. So it was a free retribution for Saison. In the bottom lane, wow, Torres, in a matchup that we would think would be advantageous to him, is actually losing out against Sano, and he's the one zoning Torres away from this cannon minion. Does seem like they're all going to be rotating to maybe pick Torres off. AOG.
AOG gonna jump in, popping that Purify too. Zaman Fort comes down under the turret, gonna be fine, so they disengage. So that could have gone way worse for them, but again, an attempt from Saudi Arabia to get pick off a kill on Torres won't happen, but they at least get the Purify out. So they might be able to make another play later on before that comes up, but still, eyes set on these objectives. Looks like Philippines just wants to put the pressure now on Tarzan for the buff, and it's taken from the hands of Tarzan here by Saison. Here's the response though, Sanji joining the fight again, Demonic Force right on Galantes. Galantes popping the Bats Feast there. They're gonna force the fight out of the Saison waiting too, but Galantes already down. Gomez now is gonna go for the pick off here, going for the way of the dragon. He's gonna go for the kick right on Tarzan as Tarzan is taken out, but Saison in trouble as well, just can't get away from the grips of Troll. And you can see Sanji feeling really good about it as well.
Well played to Saudi Arabia. Great adaptation from game number 1, seeing that Philippines know how to get the macro game, the rotation. If they are able to rotate faster, put on more map pressure on the map, they'll get an advantage. Now AOG!
Oh, he's gone, jumping under the turret. Sanji's been on point with AOGs.
So active, Naisu again. It's the chaos that can really bait in Team Philippines into these brawls. They don't want to go for the brawls, especially with this composition. They want to kite, they want to poke before they go in for the all-in. And now, because of all those skirmishes and because Cuffin has been relatively, well, not relatively, he's been completely safe the entire game, just farming it up, stacking it up. This is a dangerous Sicilian that we have in the mid-game. 5 minutes in, Cuffin is still untouched. That is a free turtle. Turtle number 2 over to KSA.
Definitely a different game this time around in game number 2 for Saudi Arabia. They're completely where they want to be. And the fact that you have this Phoveus for Sanji that has just been a nuisance to deal with for Philippines, they continue to put pressure like this around objectives. And it forces Philippines to really have a response. They do try to hold on to this turret. They will do that, utilizing the Zaman Force as well in the exchange. So they might be looking for something else here on the top side. Forcing Tarzan, Spear of Alpha on out, but this is great for Saudi Arabia. Much better game this time around, much better pacing for them as well.
Really good mid-game adaptation as well here from Team Philippines, knowing that, again, when it comes to just the farming game and rotation, Saudi Arabia has just been sticking together with Cuffin all around. So that does leave Tarzan always kind of isolated alone. Oh, they haven't been able to utilize that. AOG again!
AOG gonna find the target right on the Marcus Gomez. Take it out. Zaman Force gonna be dropped down too. Torres looking for Cuffin this time around, trying to give him his first death, but Cuffin will stay alive, and Torres gets punished alongside Gomez and Galantes. Philippines getting punished all around in the bottom side.
They just rely on the brawl to keep on going for these team fights. And if we take a look at the composition, it is a brawling comp, man. They have a Gatot, they have this Alpha and the Phobias. But the main carries are the ones at the back, the ones that are just very, very safe, man. Sano has been doing so well on the weak side as well. Shutting down Torres, neutralizing the Harith threat. Cuffin unable to be picked off at all. That Purify was the real answer. We were kind of like assuming if they want to go for Flicker on the Sicilian, a sprint perhaps. But I guess, yeah, the safest choice up against a Cho. That's the only ability, only battle spell that can get you out of the way of the Dragon. And now they're just swapping again. Saudi Arabia will send the weak side gold laner up top to deal with Torres, and the rest of them will just control around the neutral objective. It's all on Cuffin.
Yep. Third turtle, last one of the game. Fought here. It's a 1-for-1 so far for both teams. They're going to jump in this. Seisan just can't get close enough. Troll and Sanji still going for it more, and Fernandez going to be the one to fall. Zaman Force dropped down too. They want to battle it out. Finally getting Cuffin out of the picture. They punish Troll as well. They get a third body in Sanji, and it's a triple for Torres. Plus the last turtle of the game will go in the hands of the Philippines. And they just switched the game around with that fight.
It looked so good at the start for Saudi Arabia. They were able to get a massive initiation with Sanji getting 2 and then straight into the AOG, but they forgot the prime win condition for their team isn't to go in and initiate onto the backline of Philippines. No, it's to buy enough time or to distract with the chaos for Cuffin to free hit. He was targeted. Now Sano, BMI to the back.
Oh, Sano, he BMI to the back, and they were ready for him as they took him out. We got a very close-up look at that, too. But, man, it's, you know, this is where they have to kind of get themselves situated, because now in the mid lane, they're pressing again with the last insanity coming out from Seisan. Forcing them back. AOG going to find the connection on Fernandez, and they look for Seisan. Turret's already going to be down. Spear of Alpha will be able to find multiple members. Fernandez and Seisan out of the picture, but the rest of the team fight is going to break out. Galantes goes down, and Saudi Arabia will try to turn the fight around some more as Torres falls as well. Gomez, the only one left alive. What a fight for Saudi Arabia.
If Cuffin survives, if he's able to bait out all those abilities, then Tarzan carries from the back, gets an amazing Spear of Alpha in the end. After Philippines overextended, overcommitted onto Cuffin, who this time had the Purify. It's all about the Purify now. If we take a look at Cuffin, once he has it, he can bait out so many of those resources. And Philippines, they've just been throwing everything at Cuffin. Great recovery from Saudi Arabia. It looked like they've lost their lead already, but now we're back to just equal footing. 9 minutes in, 24 total kills. And Cuffin, he's still on the way. He's still scaling. He died once. That's a an okay setback. It's not that horrible for him. The fact that he has the Lightning Truncheon now, and Sanji has gotten the Roam Boots, he'll get more gold with assists coming in. Let's take a look at the items here. Glowing Wand as well, already with the Elegant Gem to get him a bit more sustained when it comes to the mana for regen. And also, Golden Staff on the way. Sano's about to hit it very, very soon.
Yeah. It's kind of scary that Sanji's that tanky too with just a Radiant Armor. Like he is, and that's why Phoveus is such a he's such a chonky hero to deal with. And they're gonna have to deal with it again with this Lord take. It started up by the Philippines. You can see Sino rotating for the fight as well. Fernandez trying to provide some of the information, and Galantes holding on.
Oh, Torres?
To Cuffin. Zolt. Cuffin already going to pop it. They ignore the Lord. They're going to just break out in the fight in the mid lane. Asano's taken out of the picture already. Torres goes down as well. Fernandez to follow. They're trying to fire back. Galantes going to be looking for Cuffin as Gomez is chased down. Run down, but he gets Galantes before he falls. 3 for 3 so far in the mid lane. Still has action as Sanji flickers out on the defensive. As Gomez and Saison are left to fight. And it's up to them at 2 for 2. And he's in trouble. Still has the armor. Gonna be popped. Still has immortality too. Right now, Saison's job is to keep them from going forward. Immortality gonna be used. Still has the armor. There's the last Insanity. Trying to cook them enough to take him down. But he gets taken out as Troll gets the health back. Gomez extending the time, and Fernandez will drop down the glorious pathway to follow on through. And they finally get Sanji a Troll. Can't run away, but he jumps out with the avatar of the Guardian. And once again, it's a reset for the objective.
They bought enough time for the rest of the team to come back, but now Saudi Arabia, Gata Kacha was able to escape. They baited all the resources.
They go for it. Tarzan will secure the Lord.
Tarzan.
And he's looking for more as he goes in with the Spear of Valful, but the Zaman Force dropped down. Winter's Crown already going to be used as well. And there's the Blazing Duet from Sano. Cleans up Torres, and Galantes will jump in with a flicker. Looking for Cuffin, whose paths are stronger. This time the Galantes wins the fight, and Sano goes down as well. So they trade blows for blows, the objectives for the bodies.
Questionable re-engage there from Saudi Arabia. The composure definitely not there. Philippines to control the situation after Tarzan's Spear of Alpha. Sano and Cuffin were again vulnerable. It's all about playing for the front to back. It's all about playing for Cuffin and Sano once they are vulnerable. It looks like Team Philippines will always be able to get the job done. But for Saudi Arabia, luckily they were still able to get the neutral objective. They bought enough time. They baited enough resources beforehand to get that free Lord. And at this point, despite the team fight loss, they should be able to hold on to all of their turrets. It's actually Team Philippines' turrets that are being threatened by some of these minion waves now. And Saudi Arabia, they should be able to spawn back in again to claim a bit more map pressure that they got with the Lord earlier. But man, what a crazy skirmish. And it really just still comes down to Sano needs to come in at the right time. He can't be the one initiating. He can't be the one in first. He needs to be the guy who comes in the end. After Cuffin has dealt the poke, after Tarzan has baited out some resources, and same goes for Sanji and Troll. Sano is the assassin, even though he's the Claude.
Yeah, that's true at that point. And you know, this is, again, it's such a close game. All these team fights that we've seen, even around the Lord, or if not, it's almost a 50-50. It really depends on the execution factor that you're talking about, especially, you know, that we see Galantes, for example, a lot of times taking Cuffin's ult and just going, you know, toe for toe with him, do that Bats Feast and everything else. But now we come into this zone of the game where it's crazy that it's only 13 minutes in, but now you have, like, the immortalities being played its part, right? The Winter Crowns, like we saw earlier. And the longer we get through the game, the more of that comes into play. And even for Saison, the fact that you have an X-Board, you have your own armor, but then you have an immortality eventually when that's available, or a Winter's Crown, you have to, that all is a factor for Saudi Arabia, especially for Sano when we're talking about his entry points, his timings, on when he finds these fights to Blazing Duet into him.
Look at the Braga armor, melted down, Rose Gold Dog, and the Wishing Lantern also for Cuffin. So that will help him out. Faraga armor for Saison. Taken very, very low. Needs to just reset again. And, AOG.
Troll jumps in. Galantes holding on to his own Avatar of the Guardian. Might not press this any further, so they do call it off. Again, they're, you know, just shortly away from this Lord coming up. So Philippines will just set up to try to get that advantage with the space to work with.
Cuffin is becoming a big, big problem here in ISU. It's a very, very scary Sicilian as we enter the 14th minute of the game. It does seem like they are trying to go for a little bit more poke, and I would say in game number 2, it's a bit different to game number 1 when we talk about the macro control and the side lane control. It doesn't seem like Team Philippines have that side lane control, but they are just going to stay decisive. By going in, That's a glorious pathway already used up. A slow push built for Saudi Arabia, and they did not start the Lord. So now they're going to have to back away. They're going to have to deal with the wave up top.
Yeah, they got to deal with a wave. It was an attempt with a glorious pathway. They do get a flicker out of it, you know, so Sanji doesn't have that available. But they'll deal with this wave. They do go ahead and send Gomez to deal with that. They still try to get in position for this Lord, and knowing all this, Saudi Arabia is going to go ahead and probably try to start this one up.
Let's see. They have the slow push. It is still going to be slow pushing, so they are in no rush. They cannot let Team Philippines hold onto it, though. There you go. The reset happens for the Enhanced Lord in the 15th minute of the game. You can see that they're going to constantly have to send Gomez up top. That's the only one they can afford to send up top because he is the only one who has the mobility to go back and forth. Not the Harith, not the Xborg, unlike Game 1 where they had the Haya. And now it's all about Saudi Arabia's control over the Lord and control over the wave.
Still taking their time.
They might be doing it.
Oh, they're going to go for it. Glorious pathway drop down to Gomez going to the backside. Lord secured by Philippines. Avatar of the Guardian are going to be used. It's two fights happening at once. Blazing duet from Sano to try to get away, but Sanji already gone. And there's the Way of the Dragon right on Tarzan. He's in trouble too. Saison, immortality going to be popped as Tarzan's already taken care of. And in that, no one went down from the Philippines, and they get 3 kills against Saudi Arabia plus the Lord.
Team Philippines just made a decisive choice. They cleared up top. They got an opening. They went straight in for the skirmish. And for Saudi Arabia, they went for it as well. They thought, you know what, we're going to 50-50 it, but now the Lord is marching down in the slow push that was already built up by Gomez. There's a wave in the bottom lane. They still have a Sicilian, and everybody's going to be back up in 4 seconds. This might not be at the end of the game, but certainly it will be a base turret in the far lane of the map. Let's see Saudi Arabia for the defense.
Gomez jumps in, finds the Way of the Dragon on Cuffin. They take out the biggest damage dealer, and they're going to be looking to cap out the game. The base is going to be worked on, and it won't be enough because Philippines will come out with a sweep against Saudi Arabia to lock in their spot